I was raised in a Christian home. God is real, and I was instilled with this belief from a very young age. I remember sitting in the church pews as a child and feeling the warmth and holiness of God. At that time, even though I was very young, I believed that I was created by God Himself. As I grew older, I began to study and understand the teachings of Christianity more deeply. However, I went through some tough times in my life. I am a homosexual. This matter has always been a point of contention with my family. This revelation was not an instantaneous event, but rather a gradual clarification. During my teenage years, I began to become very confused. I realized that I had developed special feelings for the same sex, which made me feel very conflicted and anxious. Being in a Christian home, I knew that this contradicted the traditional views of the church and family. My heart was full of struggles and contradictions. I had tried to suppress my feelings. But gradually, I realized that I could not deny what I really felt inside. I found courage within myself and began to accept that I was gay and that it was not something I could choose or change. When I decided to share my true orientation with my family, we had a heated argument. My family had a hard time accepting this fact, which made our relationship even more complicated. I strongly believe that God is a symbol of love and acceptance. I believe that God will always be by my side and guide me to a bright future. In 2011, my life went through a huge change when my lover passed away from cancer. I was by his side all that time, and it was an extremely painful time for me. His departure was a heavy blow to me, and it was as if I was plunged into endless darkness. Whenever I think back to the good times we had together, I can't stop the tears from flowing down my face. After losing him, I was filled with uncertainty about the future. I didn't know how life would go on. I felt lonely and helpless. Darkness enveloped my mind. And I fell into deep grief. One day, I suddenly felt tightness in my chest. I had always had high blood pressure, but this time the symptoms made me feel very serious. I was rushed to the hospital. When I arrived at the hospital, the doctors and nurses immediately started emergency treatment. I felt very weak and could hardly breathe. The doctors performed CPR on me and used a pacemaker to stimulate my heart. This process lasted for half an hour. When I woke up in the hospital bed, I felt very weak and my throat was very sore. I asked the nurse why my throat hurt so much. She told me that it was because they used a ventilator during the treatment. I told the nurse that I was dead and that I had gone to another place where I had met my deceased relatives. Her expression became very surprised, and this statement made her eyes widen even more. Then I went on to explain that I remembered everything and that it was all wonderful. This time, with a curious tone, she said, "Tell me what it was like." I described my experience to her in detail. I told her that the operating room floor was white and blue tile. She also knew that the patients were unconscious when they entered the operating room. I explained that I had seen it all from another perspective, which shocked her even more. I had a very special experience when my heart stopped beating. I clearly remember that it was as if my consciousness left my body and transcended the physical. I could sense the emotions of others in the room. I could feel the anesthesiologist's heartbeat and detect his nervousness. He was supposed to be a trainee doctor, and this could be clearly felt in his emotions. It was a very peculiar experience. Then, I suddenly had a strong desire to go to another place and look for my deceased lover. I knew I was dead and I just wanted to see him again. This desire became so strong that it almost became my only thought. In that moment, I felt that my soul was no longer constrained by my body and was free to follow my heart's desire. Suddenly, I traveled to a completely different dimension, a place filled with love. My perceptions began to expand. Suddenly, I saw my lover. I knew this was the person I had been longing to see. Even though he no longer had a human body, I could clearly sense that this was him, that his presence was so real. He was now in the form of a white ball of energy, a form that didn't hinder the emotional connection between us. We moved closer to each other, we embraced, and that moment was filled with warmth and love. We then exchanged many topics, but now I cannot recall the content of those conversations. In that special moment, we spent a lot of time together, sharing our inner thoughts and emotions. A deep connection was established in our souls. In the process, in addition to my lover, I saw his mother. She had passed away many years ago. In real life, we did not have a good relationship. Although I always showed her great respect, she always harbored a resentment that I had made her son gay. She held a negative view of my relationship with her son, which caused some conflict. At one point, my lover and I decided to publicly announce our relationship. When we revealed our relationship to his family, his mother reacted very violently. She showed great displeasure and even blamed me for making her son gay. The incident led to a heated argument, with his mother insisting that it was an abnormal life choice. We tried to confirm that our feelings were real and that we supported and cared for each other, but her mother was not willing to accept this reality. This conflict exacerbated the tension between us. Now she showed up and welcomed me with open arms. My feelings became very complicated. Perhaps in this realm of transcendent reality she was able to see more of the facts and truths, and to understand that the feelings between her son and me were pure and deep. We somehow reconciled during this experience. She was very grateful that I was there for her son as he battled cancer. She expressed her gratitude that I was always there for her son. Finally, my lover whispered to me, "Your time is not up yet. You must go back and fulfill your mission." I longed to stay in this place of love forever, but I realized that I had an important mission waiting for me. We walked slowly to each other. No words could express the pain I felt inside. The white ball of energy gradually began to fade, like a star disappearing into the night sky. His words once again rang in my ears, "Your time is not up yet, you must return to complete your mission." After a while, a magical force began to bring me back to the real world. It was as if I was floating in the universe, feeling the flow of time and space. The process of returning to Earth was like awakening from a dream. I could feel my body, feel the breathing and heartbeat. I slowly regained my sense of reality and felt the weight of my body. I slowly opened my eyes and the scene around me became clearer. I found myself lying in a hospital bed, the room filled with a soft white light. Nurses were busy around me. I could feel the touch of the sheets. I realized that I was back in the world, back in my body. It was a marvelous experience that gave me a deeper understanding of death and filled me with more reverence for the preciousness of life. When I woke up, most of my memories had become blurred. However, I seemed to remember that I had a conversation with a strange man. He was wearing a clean white dress and possessed brown hair. He reassured me that anyone has the right to choose their own lifestyle. As long as your lifestyle doesn't harm others, it should be respected by others. Although I can't recall the full conversation, this statement struck me very deeply. I rarely talk about this experience with others because I understand that it can be a difficult experience for many people to understand. My family had no interest in it either, as it was in direct conflict with their beliefs. However, for me, this experience was a precious gift. I believe this experience was a gift from God. A special experience. Even though I did not see God with my own eyes, I could feel His presence. God loves each and every one of us, no differently because I am gay. This experience made me realize that God's love is unconditional and He accepts everyone. This experience also liberated my mind. I let go of those unnecessary mental burdens. This experience made me a stronger believer in God's existence and also a stronger acceptance of myself. It taught me to cherish every moment of my life, to feel God's love, and to pass that love on to others. It is a special gift, a true revelation that makes me feel a sense of inner peace and confidence.